Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to open Mach3 Screen Editor, and I got the 1024 set as a copy of it. And what I need to do is I need to select all the items on the screen with select all, and it takes a little while for the computer to actually, I guess, grab all the elements until I can move them around. So we're just gonna have to wait a little bit. There you go. Now I can move them to the side. Now we have a clean slate here, except that these buttons right here on the screen 0 are not selected, so I need to move them too. So I'm just gonna move them out of the way, just put them down here. Okay, so go back to page 1. Here they are. Everything's here, and including this background image that we have there. Now if I select that image, the image path will be in Milbit background main, but first of all I have to transfer all those files from the folder, the share folder that we have it here. I had to copy those files to Mach3, so I had to open up the folder to local disk, Mach3 bitmaps, and I had to dump them here and mail bitmaps to dump it there. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the background screen, and I'm going to grab the new screen. So I think it's background. Here it is. Mach3 Screen Set. Okay. Very well. So it did put it on top of the other one, or substitute it. So let me bring this back down and set it about right there. It should be good enough there. Okay, so we got our base, and the rest of the stuff is pretty straightforward. All right, so the next thing is I'm going to select the different LEDs and buttons. Let me see, like the cycle start button. We're gonna substitute it for the cycle start, and I'm going to double click on the path, and I can just type cycle start, and it should be a PNG cycle start PNG there. That should be the one. Yeah, that's it. As you can see, it conformed to the shape of the old button, so we're gonna have to modify the shape of this. Once we fit it into one of the holes, then we can take the measurements on the window there. Let me see, close, let me see the size here. So all right, so it's 175 by 43 pixels. So now let's set it on its place there. All right, and we can use the arrow keys to move it with more precision, but right there. Very well. So now I'm gonna do the next button, which is fit hole, but basically all the buttons will do the same way. Okay, I'm gonna keep putting all the buttons the same way until I finish, and I'll get back to you. I just had to come back real quick, because these buttons, like the reverse run or any of these buttons, are not image buttons. So we had to import, to substitute those buttons, the add image button. And for example, right here, it goes, let's see which one, low G code. So I'm gonna have to bring the low G code button. I had to bring it. So add, just click on add image button, and that'll be load. PNG, open, and here's our button. And I have to get the size right. It's a 175 by 43. Okay, I just put it there. All right, I'll be right back. Very well, so as you can see, I got all the buttons installed on my background. there's a thing that I had to mention here. On all these image buttons that were previously already an image, if I select this button right here, this was not an image button. However, the cycle start was, and you can see that the cycle start, the standard code is the function cycle start, standard code 0. If I come to feed hold, standard code 1 is the pause. It's already there, right? Because I just substituted one to another. However, the ones that I just added as an image button that didn't have any function, you know, it's got the code right there, cycle start. And that one actually is load G code. So I had to come here to the button that existed, load G code, and then I can tell that the OEM code is 216. So I have to actually put that code in here when I select the G code button, 216, enter, and now it changed the function to load G code. The same with close G code is cycle start right now. So close G code would be 169. We had to enter that code, 169. Once you do that, then a close current file, that's the right code for that button. We had to do that with all of them. So now you can tell where I'm going with this. Now the screen, we had to modify a little bit. So since the screen right here on this picture is smaller than the one we're originally getting, it's 15 lines, so we're going to change that to maybe 10 lines. And now you can see that the numbers are slightly bigger. So by the time we can modify this screen to fit into that, the numbers won't be so small. And that's our screen, G-code screen. All right, so same with the arrows. Okay, so I'm almost finished with the parts that are not LEDs. So let me keep doing this and I'll be right back. Very well, so I got most of the stuff on the background screen. All we have to do now is find some LEDs and put on the slots and the holes. So right here on the 0x, 0y, and 0z, actually what those LEDs will represent is when they'll reference home. So I'm going to select the first one. So this is X reference LEDs, and same as the button, the LEDs are images from the library. Here is this is the round LEDs that previously had made. So I'm going to select those and I'll import them right here. So now let me grab the next one, which is the Y reference LED. So I'm going to grab exactly the same LED. That's perfect right there. So I'm gonna fill all these holes with LEDs and I'll be right back. So now we almost have all the elements that we need on this screen set, except for the elongated LEDs that I have to work on them. So let me go back to Krita. So I think for this thing to work, I have to set one on the side of the other. So now, since these are side to side, I think it'll turn it on and off. Very well, so I imported the LED. If you remember, it was the red color. I think the red color was on the right and the green color was on the left. If I select this LED, and I can say on the parameters right here, it says the blinking, yes, red green LED, yes. So let me see if I can, because when I drop it in here, let me show you what happens. Since the red was on the side, on the left side, and the green was on the right side, so I'm gonna drop it right here on the reset part, or the reset button, and save it. And now when I'm here to the screen, just as you can see, I open Mach3 and all the stuff is on the left of the screen because I haven't eliminated all these extra buttons that are left over, right? So we'll keep him there until we're finished with the screen. Okay, so if I come here and I push on the reset button, now you can see that it's blinking green and red as it's supposed to. But then when you reset it, it turns on red instead of the green. So what I had to do is I had to go back, and instead of the green on the right and the red on the left, I'm gonna do the opposite. Now I'm gonna export that image. So the program, what it does is just flickers or changes the position of, on the program itself, the code will change the position of one side to the other by a certain amount, depending on the size of it, and that's how it changes the color. So if I want the LED to be like turned off but the same color, then I had to make the green color, like if I want it turned off, just darker, and then I can brighten the, on the right side, brighten that image, and it'll look like it's turned on. It's kind of like an illusion, but it works. So let me go ahead and export this image. Now I can actually move this one to the side, and instead of that one, I'm gonna choose the other one, green, red LED PNG, open, and now it's green. Let's see, yeah, should be close enough. I don't want it to show too much. I want it to appear that is embedded on the button itself. So let me go ahead and save this, go back and refresh again, load the screens, screen upgrade. Should look better when it's flashing. There you go. So this E-stop button is pressed and it's flashing, and you reset it, it's green. That's the way it's supposed to be. Let me keep adding LEDs and correcting the colors of the LEDs, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. So first of all, on the PNG images, I kind of modified a few of the buttons to make the LEDs as a little bit smaller than the big hole that it's got this button here. This one and this one, I made it kind of smaller so it'll look a little bit better. And also I had to make all these LEDs is different color and different functions. So I got these PNG files here, and I got these JPEG files here. Now I'm going to make these buttons available, and I will post a link down on the description of the video if you wanna just grab the PNG so you don't have to make them. You're welcome to get them. So taking a look at those buttons, you can see that they are slightly different. I started to realize that the interface looked a little bit silly with the big buttons, so I decided to make some changes on it so the interface will look a little bit better. Now I have the Mach3 program open here, and I just opened it, so the reset button is flashing. So let me go ahead and reset it. So you can see it reset it to green there. Now these three LEDs are the reference axis. So if I press the reference or home, they're gonna turn them green. First the Z, then the Y, and then the X, as the machine does it. It's the machine coordinates right here, sub limits. Go to see does it need any LEDs. The jog button, and I'll demonstrate the reverse run as soon as I load some G-code in it. So let me do that. So let me load the G-code, probably the Roadrunner program that they have included with Mach3. So right there is the G-code loaded, and I'm going to start it, the cycle. So now it's running. You can see turn the laser on, and you can actually decrease the power of the laser with the slider. You can see the DRO there changing. So, and also the feed rate that is programmed into that program shows here, but you can override or the feed rate. As you can see, the changes on the DRO there, and you can reset it. to 60 inches a minute, I think. And this is jog button. Okay, if I want to hold it, then it'll blink yellow. I want to stop it. It turns on until you start it again. Or if I press the reset button, it just stop it right there. And of course you got the warning right here on the window or the text box. So it's being reset and cycle started. So if I hold it and I want to go in reverse, just run reverse. So now it's going back and it turns the blue LED on. You can hold the feed. You can stop it. Alright, so I can close the G code or rewind here. That rewinds it, and then I close the G code. I can 0x, 0y, and 0z. Or if I move it with the keyboard right here, then I can go to Z. And it's showing machine coordinates right now. So those are machine coordinates. So what I'm realizing here is that this button is still like the opposite. I think the LED should be turned off, turn on there and turn off there. So yeah, there's always a little bit of bugs until you get it right. But anyway, this is the way the screen is gonna look now. And I didn't make this button global, so it'll show just on this screen, but I had to go back and change that. To do that, come here and select the button, and then you want to make it global, which means that it'll show in all the tabs right here. And it's no, because I wanted to like position it and just keep it on a layer that I can see it, but now I can actually change that. Also, another thing that you can do, if you see the screen a little bit different than the other one, is because I corrected the aspect ratio of it. And to do that, you have to come here to options, and you have to resize the page. And then it gives you the different aspect ratios that you can use right here. And once you do that, then it'll automatically resize the buttons and everything on it. And the best resolution it's got right now is like 1280 by 720, I think is what it is. So here is the completed screen. If I come here to the rest of the tabs, everything is still the same. The only thing it's not showing is the reset button that should go on all the screens here. You can put it in a single screen on all of them. So anyway, that's the whole deal of changing the looks of your Mach 3 screen set to reflect some nicer, handsome, cleaner, and more updated system for your CNC, and it'll be personalized for your machine, because you do this yourself, and then you can make it look you have to take into account also the functions of it, what you want to put in it when you use your machine every day. And what happens with Mach 3, it comes in a bundle and is for all the machines that exist out there that can use Mach 3. So it's got all the buttons for all the functions, but once you get your own machine, you can customize it to whatever you're going to do. In this case, this profile is going to be for the laser, so I don't need a lot of functions that Mach 3 shows on the screen for something that I'm not going to use, cutting with the laser engraver. So that's why you can eliminate a lot of stuff and add it later if you want to. I mean, that's why you have the Mach3 Screen Editor, so you can do that kind of thing. All right, so that was my bell, and I think it's time to go. And thank you so much for watching. If you like this sort of content, you can subscribe to my channel. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. That'll really help with YouTube promoting this video. So until the next one, see you later. Thank you very much.